Hello, I am Isaac. These are the reasons why I am pro-life. I think abortions are bad. Oh no, I'm the boogeyman. This is inside the womb, this is outside the womb. So I'd say to the person that agrees with pro-choice and usually the Democrat, I tell them, hey, where does life begin? So they usually tell me that about right here. People think that when they're more developed is when they have more innate value, because in this area right here they are just a clump of cells, which if you're looking at it, you know, these ones have arms, and you know, the ones that are outside the womb have arms and heads and hearts and beating stuff. But over here yonder is where they're like clump of cellish, which is a bad argument because technically we are all clumps of cells. So this one right here is 5 months, this one is 4 months, this one is 3, this one is 2, this is 1. So usually around this stage, like right here-ish, that's when we can get their DNA sample. A quick question, do you guys know what selective breeding is? Essentially, you get their DNA, you can tell their height, their weight, their eye color, their hair color. You can tell a lot about them. And essentially, there are some people in this world that selective breed. So they get pregnant, they check the DNA, they want a certain DNA. And if it's not the right DNA, they will take it out the shopping cart. Now, if you tell me that selective breeding is wrong and it's evil, but then you also tell me that from 3 to 6 weeks or from 0 to 5 months it's useless, then you have to agree that selective breeding is okay. Because if it's just a clump of cells, then it doesn't mean nothing. Then you have to agree that these have no value. Meaning that selective breeding is okay because it has no value to you, so you don't have an opinion. But now if you tell me that it has value, or that it's wrong to selective breed, see, now we're getting into something deep. Where is that coming from? Why are you saying that? You know deep down that those babies, those clump of cells, has some sort of innate value, or else why would you think selective breeding is wrong? You can't think that selective breeding is wrong and also think that they're a clump of cells. It's either that they're clump of cells and they mean absolutely nothing, so selective breeding is whatever and it doesn't matter because they're just a clump of cells, or you're the one that says, no, it's evil because it has innate value. You is, where does that innate value come from? I believe that the cells that you think that are clumps of cells and they have nothing worth to them, I think that they have value. Now with that argument, innately you know that selective breeding is wrong. Therefore, you can draw the conclusion to say that you know it's wrong because there is some sort of value inside of that woman's womb, that you can't just take it out if you don't like a certain characteristic.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
Now, to squash the arguments about it being less developed, this is less developed than outside the womb when you're fully an adult. What's the difference between their value? Where do you guys draw the line for value? For me, it's when it's conception. It's the little dot. It's when the sperm meets the egg that eventually makes a baby. It's not going to make a dolphin. This one is less developed than this one. Does that mean that this has more value? Is this 30-year-old have more value than this 2-year-old? Or does this 13-year-old have more value? Who has more value? Say that this whole thing has value. They're all the same value. This 30-year-old isn't as more valuable as this 20-year-old. Same thing with this 13-year-old, 5-year-old, 3-year-old, 2-year-old, 9-month baby, 8-month baby, 9, 7, 6, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That value comes from conception. Where does your value come from? You aren't just a clump of cells. Technically, we all are. I believe that you're made in the image of God. I believe that you have innate value, that you have purpose. Because without being made in the image of God, we are literally nothing. If God is dead, what is the purpose of morality? Oh, we can just be nice to each other and be human beings. Yeah, but that just means that my right to say what is good and evil is relative. Your right to say what is good and evil is also relative. I could think it's good to steal now. How are you gonna tell me I'm wrong? You're not God. Just because you think it doesn't mean I have to think it. Morality either has to come from God, society, government, parents, or it's personal. Your homie says, hey, It's okay to murder people. Is he right? No. He's not right. He can be corrupted. So it can't be personal. Because then we'll all live relative. We won't think alike. People's good and evil will be dependent on them. Is it your parents? They'll tell you what's good and evil. And they can guide you to teach you what's good and evil, but where did their morality come from? Does it come from the government? Does it come from society and whatever society tells them is good and evil? And if your parents did create it, it's also a personal whim. It's arbitrary. They get to decide what's good and evil, and their opinions, their family might not agree with my family agrees what good and evil is. So how are we going to use this for our laws? How are we going to use our personal understandings and morality for our laws if we all disagree with each other? We can't. So that can't be it. So is it our government that does that? Well, if we look at history, guess what these people did? They thought it was okay to kill 6 million Jews. Obviously, that's wrong. So government can also be arbitrary, meaning opinionated. So it can't be government. Society. We all just collectively think what is good and evil as we continue to live. Like some scientist. Well, guess what, guys? It can be arbitrary. It can formulate good and evil, neglects the other society, unless there's a supreme society, which in that case, those people would start pushing fascism. Because why would I listen to the other society if that I know that society is wrong? Be society because it's the same thing like government. It's easily corruptible. So we got God. What is God? Why does he create morality? How does he create morality? Well, if you actually read the Bible, this God gives us 10 commandments. But more than that, Jesus. In the Bible, in the 10 commandments, one of the commandments says, do not commit adultery. That means do not sleep around with people, yo. Now, obviously, if I was a person to sleep around with 1 million people, eventually I'm gonna catch a disease. I'm gonna feel very shameful. People are not gonna honor me. Like, they're gonna look at me like somebody that got ran through. Same thing with the other gender. It's not honorable to be with that many people. It's not honorable to expose yourself online. If you guys seen my genitals online, you would think I'm weird. So it says do not commit adultery. This is why I added Jesus on there, because he took it a next step forward. He says anybody that looks at a woman lustfully is committing adultery with her in his heart. So there's a bar that God has set and Jesus raises the bar. Listen, don't just listen to me about this morality stuff. Read the Bible, man. Find out the truth, the way, and the life. If anything I said today made sense, it's not even coming from me. I'm just a person, a vessel that has that knowledge. And all I want to do is just pass that knowledge to you, whoever is watching this video. Whoever that is. I hope today I encouraged you to be bold with your faith, to be courageous about your conviction, and to stand firm on what you know to be true. I am Isaac. I follow Jesus not because he is God, although that's the ultimate reason to follow a person. I believe in his morality. I believe he is my savior. I believe in his resurrection. He proves that he is God. And I believe that the words that he spoke weren't just random words, but they were fundamental truth claim. I've been a Christian for approximately 3 years now. There's nothing in this world that has contradicted the fundamental truth claims that Jesus told me in the Bible. Read it, get back to me, let me know, subscribe. I want this to be education. I want people to get delivered. All I want is peace. Catch you guys later. Peace.